Hello and welcome to this new video. In this video, I'm going to deploy this application to the internet, specifically to the Azure cloud. So if you don't know how we set up this application, I recommend to go back to the previous video where I explained all the steps how to set up this MVC web application with different profiles. Before going forward, would like to just mention what we have done previously. We created web application of type MVC. It has three profiles: development profile, staging, and production. Each of these profiles is pointing on the app.json file. We have development is pointing on the appsettings.development.json file. Same thing for staging and production, and this is because we have the launch setting.json file where we set up each profile for each environment. Again, please visit the previous video if you didn't know how to set up those profiles. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to publish this application to the Azure cloud. But before going and do publishing, we need to go to the Azure portal. So if you don't have the Azure portal account, please go ahead and set up one. It's free subscription and easy to set up one. So to create app service, just you can click on the app service icon, or just go to create a resource, click on that, and then you will see web app here. If you don't see it, just search web app over here. So here I can see that I have a web app, and if I go to the home, I have the app service here. So if I click on the app services, then I will see the list of the app services that I have already, and then I can create another one if I want. So let's go and create a new web application under the app services in the Azure portal. So the first thing that you see here is your subscription, and then you will need to create a new resource group. So I will create one. I will name it RG as a resource group app 01, and then here I will mention the name of the web application that I want to set up. For example, staging. Here I will choose code. I'm not using any container or any static web. I'm using the code that is in my web application here. And then I will choose the .NET 8, which is the latest version of the .NET as we do this video. So make sure that the runtime stack of the .NET version is matching the framework that you have here for your local application. My local application that we have in Visual Studio is using the .NET framework version 8. So that's the reason why I choose the .NET 8, the latest version supported. So I will keep it Windows, and then I will keep the East US region, and then I will keep the price plan as a free. Here I will just create another service plan or Windows plan here. So I will call it new free plan. Alright, so here I will choose free as a pricing plan. So, and then I can just do review and create, or you can navigate through all the tabs here. So we are not going to use any database for this demo. We are not going to use any CI/CD deployment for now. No networking, no monitoring. So for monitor, I will disable the application insights. And then for tags, I will keep it, as it. And then I will just create, the web application. So I have already created 3 web application here for the this demo. So if I go back to my resource group here, you will see that I have created 3, one for development, one for production, and another one for staging. So the most important thing to do is to configure these three web application to be able to publish. So let's go to the web app for development, and then I will go to configure. I will click on this one, and then I will enable an option here that will allow us to publish from Visual Studio to the Azure portal. So it's taking some time to load. Here we go. So here I will make sure that the basic auth publishing credentials is on. So we are going to make sure that the publishing credential are on, and then we're gonna go and save, continue, and we are good to go. We are going to do same thing for the other apps. So I will do the same thing for production, on, save, continue. Same thing for it's still updating it. So okay, I will go back to staging, configure, on, save, continue. So it's gonna update, you know, the web apps on the Azure portal. I think we are good to go now, so I can go back to Visual Studio to deploy these applications. Okay, so now I am on Visual Studio. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on publish. Before that, make sure that you are connected to your Visual Studio with your credentials to be able to publish to portal directly from your Visual Studio. So I will choose Azure, and then I will hit next. Then I will choose the Azure App Service Windows, because I'm going to host that on the Windows operating system. Then automatically it grabs my resource group, so I'm going to deploy that code for development, and then I do finish. Then I will do close. So when I do finish, it's automatically creating a web deploy that pub.xml extension. This file has all the information we need to publish this application to the Azure portal. As you can see here, if I open up the properties, you will see that published profile that has been created. So we have a file here. It has all the information we need for the development web application that we have on the Azure portal. So also he created the ARM template that we can reuse in the future if we don't want to go to the Azure portal and start from the scratch, as we have done earlier with the three web app applications we have on the Azure portal. So what I'm going to do right now, I think we are good. So I'm going to publish that to Azure portal. The profile has been published successfully. As we can see, the published one succeed. There is no errors or any issues here. Then we are going to do the same thing for staging and for production. So what we are going to do right now, so we are going to create another profile from here. And then we are going to do the same thing that we have done for the development environment. So we are going to use the Azure App Service window, and then we are going to click on next, and then it's going to grab our resource group, and then I'm going to do that for production. So I will do finish. Then it creates another profile here. If I open up the properties, I can see it creates another production web deploy file to publish to the Azure portal. Same with the ARM template. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just I'm going to hit publish, and then it's going to do the same thing that we have done for the development environment. The production profile has been deployed successfully to the Azure portal. Now the only one left is the staging profile. We are going to create a new profile. Same thing again. Next, it's going to grab the resource group. Then I'm going to choose staging. I'm going to do finish to create a profile file to deploy that settings or those configuration to the Azure portal, and then I'm going to click publish and then wait for that to be published to the Azure portal. The staging profile has been deployed successfully. So we are done here with the local application. So we deployed this code here to the Azure portal. So now let's go to the Azure portal and see our 3 web application hosted in the Azure. So let's open 3 apps here. So we are on the development web application. If I open this up, you will see that we are in development, but it's pointing on production. So let's see for the other 2. So this is production. It says production. And for staging, let's click on the link for staging. It says production. So as you can see here, so we have all of these apps are pointing to production. So development, if we go to development, it's pointing on the production settings, and the production by default is pointing to production as well, and the staging environment also is pointing to production. So the reason why all of them are pointing to production, because the web app by default, when you create like a web app on the Azure portal, by default are pointing to the production environment. So to fix that, so we need to go to the web application itself and then go to the environment variable, and then we need to add the application settings to point to the development. If we go to the production it's automatically there. We don't need to do any configuration for it, but we could add that application settings for the production to point explicitly to that environment. So what we need to do, I need to go back to Visual Studio and just would like to go to the launch settings. I wanted to grab the ASP.NET Core key here, so and then I will go back to the Azure portal and go to the settings of this web application. I am on production. I will go to the development and then I will add application settings. Then I will put the name of that key here, and then I will mention development. So that way this application will know that it needs to point to the app settings.development.json file to grab those settings or variables that are for development only. So I do apply and then another apply and confirm the change. I will do the same thing for production. As I said, by default all the web app are pointing on the production environment, so you can leave it as it without adding any application settings, or you can just add it explicitly, just to mention that you are adding that there. Okay, so I'm going to add here production. Then I'm gonna do apply, and then gonna apply this, confirm. I think we are good. Then same thing for staging. I will go to the environment variable, and then I will add the application settings and just put here staging. I'm gonna apply this confirm. So with that in place, so we can go to refresh the development environment. It should grab the development settings. As you can see, it grabs the environment, it grabs the development connection string. So same thing with production. We are not going to see any difference because it's already pointing to production. We just explicitly put the app settings in the configuration of the application. And then let's see the impact for the staging environment. It should be grabbing now from staging configuration, which is the app settings file of this application. So now we were able to deploy this web application here, which is an MVC web application. It has 3 different environments: development, staging, and production. And we were able to create 3 different profiles for each environment and deploy that to the Azure portal, where we have 3 applications here. So which they represent each environment, which is development here, and we have production, and we have staging. Again, this is just like an express way to deploy your code directly from the Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio to Azure portal. But in the real world scenario, you need to go through the CI/CD or continuous integration, continuous deployment, to make sure that your code has no errors, has everything before deployment to the production or any other environment. Thank you for watching this video, and I encourage you to subscribe and like this video to get more videos like this. So thank you again. The next video will be about how to set up a CI/CD pipeline and deploy to different environments as well. Thank you so much.